In 1972, humanity made the biggest mistake in its entire history. We screamed into the absolute void of space. For 50 years, we pretended it was safe. Until 2025, when classified files started leaking. 5 messages that should never have left Earth. 5 doors. We opened to the unknown. If you're hearing this right now, it might already be too late. Stay until the very end, because message number 1 was sent this year, and a reply could already be on its way. You're on the unseen files. We don't tell bedtime stories. We expose what they bury. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the button right now. Turn on ALL notifications. This video has already been flagged 3 times. The first message, it wasn't a message of peace. It was a map, the Pioneer plaques. Launched in 1972 and 1973, were gold anodized aluminum plates attached to the Pioneer 10 and 11 spacecraft. Officially, they were simple pictograms, a friendly hello from humanity, a drawing of a man and a woman, our sun, and our planet's location relative to 14 pulsars, a cosmic return address. But the leaked files tell a different story. Embedded within the pulsar map was a second, hidden layer of data, detailed spectral analysis of our sun. Not just its current state, but predictive models of its future, its vulnerabilities. It wasn't just here we are. It was here as our power source. And here is how to disrupt it. Why would they include this? The official explanation is a lie. The real reason is terrifying. It was a show of force we couldn't back up. A beacon not for friends, but for conquerors. It was an invitation to a challenge. Message 2. The arecibo message of 1974. A radio signal beamed toward the M13 globular cluster, 25,000 light-years away. They told us it was a simple demonstration of our technological prowess. A bitmap image depicting our number system, the elements of life, our DNA structure, a figure of a human, and our solar system, a child's drawing sent into the cosmos. But the files reveal the transmission was encoded with something else, a primer on our biology. Not just the double helix of DNA, but the specific vulnerabilities of our genetic code. It detailed the precise protein sequences susceptible to viral and prion-based agents. We didn't just send a picture of ourselves. We sent a biological schematic, an instruction manual on how to dismantle us from the inside out. It was a desperate plea from a faction of scientists who believed we were already dying, and this was our only chance at being preserved, even if it meant being studied in a petri dish by a superior intelligence. Message 3 was never a single transmission. It was a constant, low-frequency broadcast throughout the late 1980s. Hidden beneath naval communications, the project was codenamed Lullaby. Its purpose was to transmit complex emotional states directly into space. Using advanced psychoacoustic frequencies, they broadcasted recordings of human joy, sorrow, fear, and love. The idea was to show any listeners that we were complex, sentient beings worthy of contact, not just resources to be harvested. But the experiment went horribly wrong. The frequencies, instead of conveying empathy, were warped by interstellar dust and magnetic fields. What arrived at any potential destination wasn't a symphony of emotion, but a chaotic, terrifying shriek of pure psychic agony. It was a signal that painted us as a species in torment, unstable and dangerously unpredictable. A cosmic warning sign that said, stay away or be prepared for madness. Message 4 is the darkest of them all. In 1999, as the world panicked about the Y2K bug, a clandestine SETI project named Janus Face sent a 2-part message. The first part was a beautiful, complex fractal pattern, the Mandelbrot set representing our understanding of universal mathematics and infinite complexity, a message of pure intellect. But minutes later, it was followed by the second part, a signal containing the complete works of the Marquis de Sade, translated into binary. It was a philosophical test, or so the project leads claimed. Would an advanced civilization see the beauty in our mathematics, Or would they be repulsed by the depths of our cruelty? They wanted to know what kind of God was listening. But the leaked documents contain a chilling addendum from the project's lead psychologist. He believed the transmission was an act of worship, a signal designed to attract not a benevolent intelligence, but a predatory one, an entity that would see our capacity for cruelty not as a flaw, but as a kindred spirit. And finally, message 5, the one that was sent this year. It wasn't a government project. It was a decentralized transmission from a rogue tech billionaire's private satellite network. The message wasn't a picture, or a sound, or a scientific formula. It was a live feed, a continuous, high-definition stream of our internet, every search, every social media post, every article, every video, unfiltered. They called it the global consciousness stream. They thought they were sending a message of our collective intelligence, our art, our connections. But what they sent was a portrait of our division, our hatred, our vanity, our greed. They showed them everything, all our weaknesses, all our fears, all our secrets. They gave them a real-time map of our entire civilization's psychological landscape, the ultimate intelligence gathering tool. And the most terrifying part, the leak suggests that 3 weeks ago, for a period of 4.3 seconds, the stream went dead. It wasn't a technical glitch. The data packets were being received. Someone or something was downloading. They're not just listening anymore. They're watching. And they've already learned everything they need to know. The question is no longer if they will reply. The question is when. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Have you ever heard of the Pioneer plaque? In 1972, NASA launched the Pioneer 10 spacecraft. Its mission was to be the first human-made object to journey beyond our solar system, a silent ambassador to the cosmos. Attached to it was a small, gold-anodized aluminum plate, a message in a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean. This plaque was designed by the legendary Carl Sagan and his team. It featured diagrams of a man and a woman, our solar system's layout, and most importantly, a map. But this wasn't just any map. It was a pulsar map, using the unique frequencies of 14 pulsars to triangulate the position of our sun, and by extension, our home, Earth, at the moment of the launch. For decades, the official story was that this was a harmless, beautiful gesture. The thinking was that the pulsars, which are incredibly dense, spinning neutron stars, were like cosmic lighthouses. Their rotation rates were thought to be so stable that even millions of years from now, any intelligent civilization could use them to find the origin of this strange little craft. The map was a one-way ticket back to 1972. It was a historical document, not a live tracking beacon. At least, that's what we were told for half a century. NASA and the scientific community assured everyone it was perfectly safe. The vast distances and the immense time scale of space travel meant that even if someone found it, they'd be looking for a ghost, a planet that existed in a specific spot eons ago. But what if the fundamental assumption was wrong? What if the universe is changing faster than we thought? Fast forward to today. Imagine a scenario, something straight out of a classified report. Let's say in January 2025, an internal NASA document, something that was never meant to see the light of day, gets leaked to the public. The contents are explosive. It reveals that recent, highly advanced observations have shown something terrifying. The pulsars, those reliable cosmic clocks we based our map on, aren't as stable as we believed. Their rotational periods are decaying, shifting at a rate far greater than our 1970s models ever predicted. The universe is more dynamic, more chaotic than Sagan's team could have ever known. The implications are chilling. The map on the Pioneer plaque is no longer a historical artifact pointing to 1972. It is a living, breathing navigational chart that's evolving in real time. The pulsar frequencies have shifted in such a way that if an advanced civilization were to find the Pioneer probe today, their calculations wouldn't lead them to Earth's position from 50 years ago. No, the math would resolve to a new set of coordinates, our coordinates, right now. The map, once a message of peace, has inadvertently become a light ping. A cosmic "you are here" sign pointing directly at modern-day Earth. It is like leaving a treasure map where the X doesn't mark where the treasure asterisk was asterisk buried, but where the treasure asterisk is currently located asterisk. Think about where Pioneer 10 is right now. It's over 13 billion miles, or 20 billion kilometers, away from us. That sounds like an incomprehensible distance, and for us, it is. But in the grand scheme of the galaxy, it's nothing. It's the equivalent of leaving a note on your neighbor's doorstep. We sent out an open invitation, and for 50 years, we thought we sent it with an old, expired address. Now, we're realizing the address auto-corrected. The probe is a breadcrumb leading directly to our front door. So, let's play this out. Picture a civilization out there, one far more advanced than our own. They are interstellar travelers. They stumble upon the strange, ancient probe drifting through the void. They retrieve it, analyze the golden plaque. To them, it's not a historical puzzle, but a contemporary navigational challenge. They run the numbers, correcting for the pulsar drift they have long understood. Their computers crunch the data, and a location in the Orion arm of the Milky Way galaxy flashes onto their screens. A small, blue-green planet, third from its star. They chart a course, not to visit a long-dead civilization, but to meet the current occupants. Imagine their ship, silent and massive, dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of our solar system. They followed our little golden map, a map that was supposed to be a message of peace and a record of our past. But they didn't find an empty house or an archaeological ruin. They arrived to find the lights are on and someone is still home. We sent out a message in a bottle, expecting it to be found on a distant shore 1,000 years from now. Instead, we might just find that we gave away our address to someone who was already in the neighborhood, and they're coming to visit. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, be sure to subscribe for more. On November 16, 1974, humanity did something truly remarkable. From the colossal Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, we beamed the most powerful radio signal ever created deep into the cosmos. Our target was Messier 13, a dense globular cluster of stars, about 25,000 light-years away. This wasn't just a random pulse of energy. It was a carefully crafted message, a cosmic postcard from Earth, packed into just 1,679 bits of binary code. Was a snapshot of who we are. It detailed the fundamental chemical elements of life, the iconic double helix structure of our DNA, a simple diagram of a human figure, and even a map showing the exact location of our solar system. We shouted into the void, "Here we are," and then we waited. The message, traveling at the speed of light, would take tens of thousands of years to reach its destination. Scientists calculated that the earliest we could possibly expect a reply would be around the year 50,370 AD. It was a gesture for a future generation so distant, it felt almost symbolic, a message in a bottle thrown into a cosmic ocean. For decades, the Arecibo message was a celebrated piece of scientific history, a symbol of our curiosity and our hope to find that we're not alone. The signal went out. The years passed, and life on Earth continued, with the message largely forgotten by the public, relegated to textbooks and documentaries. It was a one-way call with no expectation of an answer in our lifetime, or in the lifetimes of our great-grandchildren. But what if the calculation was wrong? What if something, or someone, was much, much closer? Then, in 2025, a bombshell dropped that shook the foundations of everything we thought we knew. The story begins not with a grand announcement from a space agency, but with a shadowy leap. A former employee of the SETI Institute, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, ALLEGEDLY, broke protocol. This individual, whose identity remains a mystery, is said to have released a single, classified file onto the dark web before vanishing without a trace. The file contained evidence of something impossible, something that defied all logic and our understanding of physics. The leak claimed that on November 16th, 2025, exactly 51 years to the day after the original transmission, we received a reply, not from Messier 13, but from an unknown source much closer to home. It wasn't a complex new message. It was an echo of our own voice, sent back to us. But this was no ordinary echo. The return signal was a perfect copy of the arecibo message, all 1,679 bits of it. However, there was one terrifying alteration. It was mirrored, flipped entirely upside down. Imagine taking the original image, our pictogram of humanity, our DNA, our solar system, and turning it on its head. Every piece of information was inverted. The human figure was now standing on its head. The DNA helix spiraled in the opposite direction. The representation of our sun and planets was reversed. It was a deliberate, intelligent manipulation. Someone or something had intercepted our message, understood it, and sent it back with a clear, but deeply unsettling, modification. The meaning was ambiguous, but the implications were horrifying. Was it a warning? A mockery? A declaration of opposition? The fact that they could perfectly replicate and alter our most advanced signal was a staggering display of technological superiority. The story gets even darker. Just 48 hours after this, mirrored signal was allegedly received and logged onto secure servers at listening posts around the world. A massive, coordinated cyber attack occurred. It was sophisticated, precise, and devastating. Every single server, every hard drive, every backup file containing the data of this reply was targeted and wiped clean. The official explanation was a state-sponsored cyber attack, a random act of digital warfare. But the timing was too perfect, the target too specific. To those who knew about the mirrored message, it was a clear and brutal act of suppression. All evidence of the reply, all proof that we had made contact, was digitally incinerated. The leak from the SETI employee was the only thing that survived the purge. It was a ghost in the machine, a whisper of a truth so monumental it had to be buried. Why? Who were they trying to protect? Or what were they trying to protect us from? The great physicist Stephen Hawking once issued a chilling warning about making contact with alien civilizations. He compared it to the first encounters between Native Americans and Christopher Columbus. Noting that it didn't turn out so well for the natives, he cautioned, if aliens visit us, the outcome would be much as when Columbus landed in America, which didn't turn out well for the Native Americans. He feared that an advanced civilization might be nomadic, looking to conquer and colonize whatever planets they could reach. He warned us not to shout into the jungle, because we don't know what's out there. On that day in 2025, we may have found out he was right. The mirrored message wasn't a greeting. It was a threat, an inverted image of humanity, a dark reflection. It was a sign that someone was watching, someone powerful enough to catch our whisper across the stars and throw it back in our face, before erasing the evidence of their own existence. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as chilling as I did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. We'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and potentially terrifying stories in human history. A tale that blurs the line between scientific exploration and a cosmic horror story. It begins with a simple, hopeful gesture, but ends with a chilling realization. This is the story of the Golden Record, and how it might just be the breadcrumb trail that leads an unknown civilization right to our front door. Imagine it's 1977. The world is a different place. Disco is on the radio. The first Star Wars movie is hitting theaters. And NASA is about to launch one of its most ambitious projects ever, the Voyager program. Two robotic probes, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, were built to explore the outer giants of our solar system: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. But they carried something else, something unique. Attached to the side of each probe was a time capsule, a message in a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean. It wasn't just any message. It was a 12-inch, gold-plated copper disc. Engineered to survive for 1 billion years or more. We call it the Golden Record. This record was humanity's ultimate mixtape. It was our introduction to the universe, a carefully curated collection of sounds and images, designed to paint a portrait of life on Earth. A committee led by the legendary astronomer Carl Sagan was tasked with an impossible question. If you could only send one message to an extraterrestrial intelligence, what would you say? What would you show them? Their answer was a symphony of humanity. The record contains greetings in 55 different languages, from ancient Akkadian to modern Mandarin. It holds the sounds of our planet, the rumble of thunder, the cry of a whale, the gentle chirp of a cricket, a mother's first words to her newborn child, and even the sound of a kiss. The music selection is just as eclectic, a global playlist meant to showcase our creative spirit. It features the mathematical perfection of Bach's Brandenburg Concerto, the revolutionary rock and roll of Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good, traditional music from Peru, and the soulful melodies of a Navajo night chant. It was a beautiful, optimistic gesture, a way of saying, "This is who we are. This is our world. We hope you're out there, and we hope you're friendly." But the record didn't just contain art and culture. It also contained a map. This is where the story takes a darker turn. Along with 115 images showcasing our science, our anatomy, our architecture, and our daily lives, the creators included a set of diagrams. These weren't just abstract drawings. They were instructions. One diagram showed how to build a device to play the record. Another depicted the fundamental principles of our mathematics and physics. And then there was the most critical piece of information, a pulsar map. This map uses the unique timing signals of 14 different pulsars to triangulate the exact position of our sun in the Milky Way galaxy. It's an incredibly precise, unambiguous address. It basically says, "We are here." For decades, this was seen as a purely symbolic act, a beautiful, harmless message sent into the void. The chances of anything finding it were considered astronomically small. The probes would drift silently through the interstellar dark for eons. But then, a supposed internal document, allegedly leaked in 2025, cast the entire project in a new, more sinister light. The document, whose authenticity is still debated in dark corners of the web, reportedly admitted something startling. It stated that if any civilization advanced enough to travel between the stars ever intercepted the Voyager probe, the Golden Record wouldn't just be a friendly hello. It would be a complete intelligence briefing. Think about it. They would have our location. They would know our biology from the anatomical drawings. They'd understand our technological level from the images of cars and cities. They'd even have a deep insight into our psychology, our emotions, and our social structures from our music and sounds. They would know everything they needed to know to either greet us as friends, or to see us as a resource, a threat, or simply a planet ripe for the taking. The document allegedly concluded that the Golden Record was, in essence, the most detailed and dangerous invitation ever created. Right now, Voyager 1 is over 24 billion kilometers away from home, the most distant human-made object in existence. It has left our solar system and is now traveling through the vast, uncharted territory between the stars. Every year, it gets further and further away, a tiny, silent ambassador carrying our secrets into the great unknown. We have no way of knowing what's out there. We sent a message of peace and hope, but we also sent a map. We told the universe where to find us. Now, all we can do is wait and wonder, is anyone listening? And if they are, what will they think of the fragile, noisy, and beautiful world that sent them this golden gift? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Golden Record was a brilliant act of cosmic diplomacy or a naive, catastrophic mistake? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the universe's greatest mysteries. Did you know we might have already doomed humanity with a bag of chips? No, I'm not kidding. Let's rewind to 2008, a year that, in hindsight, was completely wild. This was the year of potato chip company, Doritos, decided it was a brilliant marketing move to beam a 30-second commercial deep into space. Their target, a star system 42 light-years away called 47 Ursae Majoris, which some scientists think could host habitable planets. Imagine this, a high-powered transmission shot from a radar dish in the Arctic, carrying a message about crunchy, cheesy, triangular snacks. It sounds like a joke, right? But it gets even crazier. In that very same year, NASA, not wanting to be left out of the cosmic party, decided to send a message of their own. They chose the Beatles' song Across the Universe and beamed it towards Polaris, the North Star. And just before that, a different European project had also sent a message to, you guessed it, 47 Ursae Majoris. So, let's get this straight. In less than 12 months, we sent at least 3 completely different messages to the same corner of the galaxy. If there is an intelligent civilization out there, their first impression of Earth is going to be confusing, to say the least. They'll likely conclude that humanity is an advanced, yet bafflingly strange species utterly obsessed with fried corn snacks and pop music from the 1960s. Is that really the first impression we want to make? Here's the really concerning part. The Doritos signal wasn't just some weak, throwaway transmission. It was reportedly 5 times more powerful than most scientific METI. That's messaging to extraterrestrial intelligence transmissions. This wasn't a carefully crafted message from the world's scientists or governments representing the best of humanity. This was a private company with a marketing budget deciding on their own to speak for our entire planet. They just went ahead and did it. No global consensus, no international debate, just a big, loud, "Hey aliens, buy our chips," shouted into the void. This idea of shouting into the cosmic darkness without knowing who or what is listening is a concept that science fiction has warned us about for decades. It's often called the dark forest theory. The idea is that the universe could be like a dark forest full of silent hunters. In this forest, the safest survival strategy is to stay quiet. Announcing your existence could be like a lost hiker shouting for help only to attract a predator instead. By sending these loud, unfiltered messages, are we just painting a giant target on our backs? We're broadcasting our location, our technological level, and a very weird slice of our culture without any idea of the potential consequences. What if the recipients aren't friendly? What if they see a developing civilization like ours as a potential threat to be eliminated, or a resource to be exploited? We simply don't know. For years, this was just a weird footnote in marketing history. But the conversation has shifted. By 2025, governments and scientific bodies started looking back at these rogue transmissions with genuine alarm. They were reevaluated and reclassified under a new, much more serious label, existential risk. That's a risk that threatens the very survival of humanity. Think asteroid impacts, supervolcanoes, and now, interstellar snack commercials. The problem is, you can't unring a cosmic bell. Those signals the Doritos add, the Beatles song, they are already out there, traveling through space at the speed of light. They left Earth years ago and are now trillions of miles away. Well on their journey towards 47 Ursae Majoris and Polaris. There's no taking them back. They are a permanent part of our cosmic footprint. Sometime around the year 2050, the Doritos signal will arrive at its destination, and if anyone is listening, they'll receive a 30-second blast of 21st century consumer culture. What happens next is anyone's guess. Maybe nothing. Maybe they'll send back a message asking for the recipe. Or maybe, just maybe, we'll learn that speaking for an entire planet is a responsibility that should never have been sold to the highest bidder. It's a strange thought, isn't it? That our first contact with an alien species might not be initiated by scientists or explorers, but by a marketing team. It forces us to ask some big questions. Who gets to speak for Earth? And what should we say? We've already sent our chaotic, commercially driven message. Now, all we can do is wait. The signals are on their way, and we have no idea what the reply will be. Thanks for watching. If you found this cosmic story as fascinating and slightly terrifying as I did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the weird and wonderful history of our universe. See you next time. It appears that while we were all going about our daily lives, powerful organizations were sending messages out into the cosmos. Messages that were never approved, never debated, and never made public. The first is a direct, official reply to the legendary WOW signal. It was so unusual, so unlike any natural phenomenon, that the astronomer who found it simply wrote WOW. The transmission was sent this year using China's FAST telescope, the largest single-dish radio telescope in the world. We don't know the exact contents of the message, but sending a targeted reply to a signal of unknown origin is a monumental step, a gamble of cosmic proportions. It is not one, but to Earth-sized planets orbiting within its habitable zone, the Goldilocks zone. This means the conditions on these planets could be just right for liquid water to exist, and therefore, potentially, for life to rise. The message to Tea Garden Star was sent this year, which means we could receive a response as early as 2049. That's not some distant science fiction future. That's well within the lifetimes of many people watching this video right now. We have potentially started a conversation that could have a conclusion in just a couple of decades. The reaction from within the scientific and intelligence communities has been one of silent, controlled panic. One memo, quoted verbatim, is just for words long. Cease all METI transmissions immediately. This isn't a suggestion. It's a desperate plea from someone who understands the stakes. There's a fierce debate raging in secret. On one side, you have those who believe we must reach out, that the potential rewards of contact outweigh the risks. They believe we could gain knowledge, technology, and a new understanding of our place in the universe. But on the other side, there's a growing faction, including some of the most respected minds in astrophysics and astrobiology, who are horrified. They argue that we're like children shouting in a dark and unknown jungle, unaware of the predators that might be listening. They point to our own history, what happens when a more technologically advanced civilization encounters a less advanced one. It rarely ends well for the less advanced. Stephen Hawking himself warned against this, saying that an alien civilization might be nomadic, looking to conquer and colonize whatever they can reach by broadcasting our existence and our location. Are we inviting a future we are completely unprepared for? The most terrifying part of this whole situation is that it may already be too late. The memo pleading to stop all transmissions seems to have been ignored, or at least it came too late. The leaked files show that more METI transmissions are already scheduled for 2026. The program is not stopping, it's accelerating. We are sending more messages to more stars without any global consensus or risk assessment. It's an unprecedented gamble with the future of our entire species as the stake. What happens now? We're in uncharted territory. The cat is out of the bag. These messages are flying through space, irreversible and unstoppable. All we can do is wait. We're waiting for 2049, the earliest we might hear back from T Garden Star. Will we be met with a message of peace and fellowship from a cosmic cousin? Or will we be met with a terrifying silence, or worse, the arrival of something we should have never woken up? The year 2025 may not be remembered for its elections or its pop culture, but for being the year we sent a message that may have called them here. Thanks for watching. If this topic fascinates you as much as it does me, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. See you next time. Have you ever wondered if we're truly alone in the universe? For decades, organizations like SETI have been carefully listening, sending out deliberate, internationally agreed upon messages into the cosmos. It's been a slow, methodical process, governed by protocols to ensure we present a united, responsible front to any potential cosmic neighbors. But what if I told you that system has been completely shattered, that the age of quiet, careful listening is over, and a new era of cosmic anarchy has begun? Recent leaks, confirmed by heavily redacted documents from several astronomical agencies, have revealed a deeply unsettling truth. The gatekeepers are gone. Anyone with enough money and access to a powerful radio telescope can now send their own personal postcard into the void, and they are. The information is shocking. This year alone, there have been at least 7 significant unauthorized transmissions sent to nearby star systems. We're not talking about faint, accidental radio leakage. We're talking about high-power, focused messages aimed at specific cosmic targets. Let's break down what we know. One of the most audacious incidents involved a major European electronic music festival. Instead of just broadcasting to their earthly audience, they collaborated with a privately owned observatory to beam 38 10-second music clips directly towards Leighton Star. This star is just over 12 light years away, a mere stone's throw in cosmic terms. It's a red dwarf known to have at least potentially habitable exoplanets. So, for the next 12 years, a blast of techno and house music is hurtling towards a world that might harbor life. What will they think of us? Will they see it as a friendly greeting or a declaration of chaotic noise? We have no idea, because this wasn't a message from humanity. It was a PR stunt. But it gets even stranger. Another transmission, traced back to a group of self-described rogue astrophysicists, was a tribute to the late Stephen Hawking. A noble idea on the surface, perhaps. But their target was Sagittarius Asterisk, the supermassive black hole at the center of our own Milky Way galaxy. They beamed a complex data packet containing Hawking's key equations and lectured straight into the abyss. Why? Their manifesto, leaked online, claimed it was an attempt to communicate with a higher dimensional intelligence they believe might exist beyond the event horizon. It's a concept straight out of science fiction. But they used a multi-million-dollar radio dish to do it. A message sent to a place from which no information can ever return, breaking all known laws of physics. These are just 2 examples. Other transmissions include the complete text of a classic novel, sent to the Kepler 186f system for years. We operated under the assumption that the immense cost and technical expertise required to send such messages were a natural barrier, that only governments and major scientific institutions could even attempt it. But we were wrong. The privatization of space exploration and astronomy has had an unintended consequence. Private companies now own and operate some of the most powerful radio telescopes on the planet, and they're renting them out. If you have the money, you can buy a time slot and point the dish wherever you want, sending whatever you want. This raises terrifying questions. What happens when a doomsday cult decides to send a message of galactic war? Or a rogue state broadcasts a threatening ultimatum? What if a corporation sends a targeted advertisement for soda to a potentially habitable world? We've opened Pandora's box, and we have no way to close it. International astronomical unions are scrambling, holding emergency meetings, but they have no real authority. They can condemn these actions, but they can't stop them. We are now living in a world where any individual can appoint themselves the spokesperson for Earth. For better or for worse, the silence from the stars was once a profound mystery. Now, our own uncontrolled shouting might be the reason for that silence. Perhaps other civilizations learned long ago that the loudest voices in the cosmos are often the most reckless. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember that it's no longer a quiet, peaceful expanse. It's becoming a chaotic billboard, a digital graffiti wall, and we have no idea who is reading the messages. The scariest part isn't what might be out there, it's what we are becoming. Thanks for watching. If this topic fascinates and terrifies you as much as it does me, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. Stay curious. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered if we're alone? For decades, we've been listening, hoping to catch a whisper from the cosmos. But what if we've been going about it all wrong? What if the real question isn't is anyone out there, but should we be shouting into the void? This isn't just a philosophical question anymore. It's a debate that has split the scientific community and could decide the future of our species. It's the debate over METI, or messaging extraterrestrial intelligence, and some of the greatest minds of our time have warned it could lead to our extinction. Let's go back to 2015. A petition, a plea for caution, began to circulate. It called for a global moratorium, a complete stop on sending powerful, targeted messages into deep space. This wasn't some fringe idea. Over 28,000 scientists, engineers, and intellectuals added their names. Among them, visionaries like Elon Musk. But perhaps the most chilling warning came from the late, great Stephen Hawking. In his own words, he painted a terrifying picture. He said, if aliens visit us, the outcome would be much as when Columbus landed in America, which didn't turn out well for the Native Americans. Think about that. The arrival of an advanced civilization might not be a moment of enlightenment, but of conquest. Hawking's logic is rooted in a concept known as the dark forest theory. Imagine the universe as a dark forest filled with silent hunters. In this forest, survival is paramount. Every civilization is a potential threat. To reveal your location is to invite your own destruction. The safest strategy: stay quiet, listen, but never, ever reply. From this perspective, broadcasting our existence is like lighting a bonfire in the middle of the dark forest and screaming, "Here we are." It's a gamble of unimaginable stakes. Proponents of this view argue we're like infants playing with a loaded weapon. We have no idea who or what might be listening. An alien civilization could be billions of years older than us. Their technology would be indistinguishable from magic, and their motives completely unknowable. Would they see us as equals, or as a resource to be exploited, a pest to be exterminated? The history of our own planet shows us how more advanced cultures often treat those they deem lesser. Why would cosmic interactions be any different? But this is far from a one-sided argument. On the other side of this cosmic chessboard are scientists who believe the risk is not just worth taking, but necessary. One of the most vocal proponents was the Russian radio astronomer Alexander Zaitsev. He was a pioneer of METI, crafting and sending some of humanity's most powerful messages to the stars. His argument was simple and powerful. If every civilization is afraid to speak, the universe will be silent forever. We'll never meet anyone. He called the opposing viewpoint paranoid and argued that any civilization advanced enough to travel between stars would likely have outgrown primitive tendencies like conquest and violence. They would be benevolent, seeking knowledge, not conflict. To them, silence is stagnation. It's a self-imposed prison, condemning humanity to cosmic loneliness. They believe that contact, even with its risks, holds the promise of unimaginable rewards, solutions to disease, poverty, and even mortality. It could be the next great leap in our evolution. This fierce debate, once confined to academic halls and scientific journals, has suddenly become much more urgent. It's no longer just a hypothetical. Why? Because in 2025, something changed. We got a sign that the debate is over, and the consequences have already begun. We now have reason to believe that one of our messages, one of those shouts into the dark forest, may have finally been heard. For decades, we sent out signals, the arecibo message, the cosmic calls, the teenage message. We encoded our DNA, our mathematics, our art, and our music, and we beamed it all towards distant star systems. We assumed we were just throwing bottles into a cosmic ocean, with infinitesimal odds of them ever being found. But new analysis of faint, anomalous signals suggests one of these bottles might have reached a shore. We don't know who picked it up. We don't know what they thought of it. We only know that someone or something might now know we exist. Suddenly, Hawking's warning doesn't sound like a sci-fi plot. It sounds like a prophecy. And Zaitsev's optimism feels like a reckless gamble we can't take back. We are now in a new era, the era of waiting. The silence from the stars is no longer empty. It's filled with anticipation and a growing sense of dread. Have we just invited our saviors, or have we rung the dinner bell for cosmic predators? The question is no longer should we shout into the dark. The question now is what's coming for us now that we have. The answer could be on its way, traveling across the light years, and humanity can do nothing but watch the sky and wait. The time for debate is over. The consequences are coming. Thank you for watching. What do you think? Should we have stayed silent? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to explore more of the biggest questions facing humanity, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. They say the universe is silent, a vast, empty void where nothing answers our calls. But what if that's a lie? What if the silence is a shield? And what if we just shattered it? In the history of our species, we've sent countless messages into the cosmos, little digital bottles tossed into an infinite ocean. Most are just noise, lost in the static, but five of them were different. They were powerful, clear, and packed with information. Think of them as a cosmic address book, a map, and a diary all rolled into one. And one of them was sent this year. In 2025, our cosmic solitude officially ended. Let's rewind. The first message was the arecibo message, sent in 1974, a simple pictogram, a cosmic stick figure drawing. It showed our DNA, our solar system's layout, and a crude image of a human. It was a basic hello. This is us. But think about what it really says. It says we have a specific biological makeup, a weakness. It pinpoints our location. It was a shot in the dark. But it's been traveling at the speed of light for 50 years now, a half-century closer to a potential listener. Then came the Voyager Golden Records, launched in 1977. These were far more ambitious. To phonograph records containing sounds and images selected to portray the diversity of life and culture on Earth. The sound of a kiss, a mother's first words to her newborn, music from every corner of the globe, but also images of war, diagrams of our anatomy, our technology. It's a beautiful, poetic gesture. It's also an incredibly detailed intelligence briefing for any civilization that might find it. It tells them not just who we are, but how we think, how we feel, and how we fight. Fast forward to the new millennium, with the rise of private space exploration and more powerful transmitters, our messages became louder, more deliberate. The cosmic call messages in 1999 and 2003 were digital packets of text and images sent towards specific star systems. They included scientific constants, but also poetry and art. We were trying to show our intellectual and emotional depth. We were trying to impress someone, but in doing so, we revealed our vulnerabilities, our philosophies, our deepest fears and desires. We weren't just saying hello anymore. We were bearing our soul to the void. And that brings us to the fifth message, the one sent just this year. It wasn't a government project or a scientific endeavor. It was broadcast from a private, rogue satellite, unregulated, unsanctioned. It's called the Elysian broadcast. We don't know everything that was in it, but leaked data suggests it was a live, continuous stream of our global internet traffic. Everything, every social media post, every news article, every online argument, every declaration of love, and every cry for help. It showed a species at war with itself, a world of incredible beauty and unimaginable cruelty, loud, chaotic, and deeply, deeply divided. The universe now knows we're here, and it doesn't just know that we are here. It knows where we are. It knows what we look like. It knows how our bodies work. It knows our greatest achievements and our most shameful failures. And it knows we can't agree on anything. We've sent them a user manual on how to exploit us. Maybe the civilizations that receive these messages are benevolent. Maybe they're philosophers and explorers eager to share their wisdom. Or maybe they follow the same ruthless logic that has governed life on our own planet for millennia. The strong survive, and the weak are a resource. Maybe they're already on their way. Maybe they're already here, watching, listening, waiting for the right moment. The truth is, we don't know, and we can't take it back. The signals are out there, traveling at the speed of light, and nothing travels faster than light. What do you think? Was this humanity's greatest achievement or our final mistake? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoy pondering the big, terrifying questions, be sure to subscribe for more. Ever wonder if we're truly alone in the universe? For centuries, we've looked up at the stars, sending out our own messages, hoping for a reply. In 1974, we beamed the arecibo message into space, a digital postcard from humanity. It was a simple pictogram showing our number system, our DNA, a figure of a human, and our solar system. We sent it towards the M13 star cluster, 25,000 light years away. A shot in the dark, not expecting a reply for 50,000 years. But what if the reply came sooner? What if it already has? In 2001, something extraordinary appeared in a crop field in Chilbolton, England, right next to a radio telescope. It was a complex pattern, a near-perfect response to the arecibo message we sent decades earlier. It wasn't just random scribbles. This formation, when decoded, mirrored our original message's structure but with striking differences. It showed a different, atomic structure based on silicon instead of carbon. The DNA helix was altered. The human figure was replaced with a large-headed, small-bodied being, and their solar system was different, indicating they came from a system with multiple inhabited planets. Was this an elaborate hoax, or was it the most significant communication in human history, hidden in plain sight? But the story doesn't end there. The Chilbolton reply is just the first piece of a much larger puzzle, a puzzle that leads us directly to the year 2025. This date keeps appearing in coded messages, astronomical anomalies, and declassified documents that hint at a scheduled event, a moment of contact. So, what if the messages never stopped? What if they just got quieter, more hidden, waiting for us to piece them together? That's what we're going to do. We're going to dive into 5 of the most chilling, Cryptic messages that have surfaced since 2001, each one adding another layer to the 2025 mystery. Let's start with message 1, the WOW signal. In 1977, a radio telescope picked up an incredibly strong, narrow-band signal that lasted for 72 seconds. It was so unusual, so perfectly aligned with what we'd expect from an artificial, extraterrestrial source, that the astronomer who found it, Jerry Emin, famously circled the data and wrote "wow" next to it. For decades, we've never detected it again. But recent analysis, using advanced AI, has found faint, repeating patterns hidden within the original signal's noise floor. Patterns that resolve into a star map, a map that points to a region of space that will be at its closest observable point to Earth in, you guessed it, 2025. Message 2. The Parkes Observatory Fast Radio Burst. These are intense, millisecond-long bursts of radio waves from deep space. One in particular, FRB 121,102, is unique because it repeats. Most are one-offs. This one flashes over and over from the same spot. Scientists are baffled. But a group of independent researchers claim to have found a mathematical structure within the timing of the bursts. It's not random. They claim it's a countdown sequence, a primer sequence like you'd use to establish a communication protocol. And the final sequence of the countdown is set to complete in late 2025. Coincidence? Maybe. But the math is disturbingly precise. Now for message 3. And this one is visual. In 2014, the Rosetta spacecraft, orbiting a comet, captured a series of strange sounds. The European Space Agency released them, calling it the Singing Comet. It sounds like eerie, clicking, electronic music. They officially explained it as plasma interactions. But a sound analyst, using a technique called semantics to visualize the sound waves, found something incredible. The frequencies, when translated into visual patterns, formed complex geometric shapes, almost identical to the symbols found in ancient petroglyphs all over the world. These ancient symbols have long been associated with sky gods. The comet was broadcasting ancient art, and its trajectory brought it closest to Earth's orbit during a period that aligns with the 2025 timeline. Message 4 takes us to the deep ocean. Off the coast of Japan, in the Yonaguni Monument, lies a massive underwater rock formation that looks like a man-made pyramid. Many argue it's natural, but here's the twist. In 2019, a research submarine mapping the area with sonar detected, repeating, low-frequency pulse emanating from beneath the main structure. It wasn't geological. It was a rhythmic, 5-beat pattern, a sequence that has been called a universal calling card in theoretical contact scenarios. The pulse has been growing stronger each year. Projections show it will reach a peak intensity detectable without specialized equipment in, you guessed it, 2025. Finally, message 5. This is the one that ties it all together. It's not from space or the ocean, but from our own internet. A string of encrypted data, known as the 2025 leak, appeared briefly on a secure server before being scrubbed. It contained fragments of all the previous messages, the WOW signal star map, the FRB countdown sequence, the comet semantic patterns, and the Yonaguni pulse. But it also contains something new, a simple binary code. When translated, it read, "We hear you. Prepare for reply. Year of your 2025. Sky will listen." These 5 messages, from the depths of space to the depths of our oceans, all seem to be pointing to a single moment in time. Are they elaborate hoaxes? Incredible coincidences? Or are we on the verge of the most profound event in human history? The evidence is there if you know where to look. The year 2025 is no longer just a date on the calendar. It's a destination. And we're all headed there together. If you made it this far, you're part of this now. Comment which of the 5 messages chilled you the most. Type "I heard the call" if you want part 2 with the secret Brazilian transmissions no one is talking about. If this video hits to OK likes in 7 days, I released the full uncensored 2025 leak file that has already been deleted from for servers. Subscribe right now. Turn on all notifications, because the next message might not be ours. It might be theirs. I've been your guide through the unknown, and space just got a lot smaller.